Hi, we're part of the problem.
It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Hi.
Welcome to our algorithm. No, we're here to talk about Alex Winter's The YouTube Effect. And really, by the time it was over, I thought, should we even be doing this?
They want growth. Everything's about growth.
Go hit that like button.
They are obligated to maximize shareholder value.
Since you are here with us on YouTube, we thought you'd be interested in a documentary about YouTube called The YouTube Effect. And hey, while you're here, if you haven't subscribed to us yet on YouTube, that'd be fantastic.
It helps other people find us on YouTube.
Right. We have content for you. We are content creators. But yeah, we do a lot of documentaries around here. So we would love to have you join us if that is your thing. Alex Winter, formerly Bill of Bill and Ted's. He's now a documentarian.
He's been a documentarian for a while.
Yeah, for a while now. We reviewed his Frank Zappa documentary a couple years back, and now he is back with The YouTube Effect. And basically, it gets its arms around and connects the dots between a lot of things that you probably already know, but kind of synthesizes them as far as just how YouTube has evolved over the years, its humble origins for wholesome videos of people doing silly, funny things, to then leading you down increasingly insidious rabbit holes because the algorithm demands that you stay on as long as possible.
No matter what you're watching.
Right. There was a whole podcast. Did you ever listen to the Rabbit Hole podcast?
Mm-mm.
That was a few years back, and that covered a lot of the same territory, just as far as how YouTube tries to keep you on as long as possible by recommending increasingly extreme content along the lines of what you're already watching. If you like this, watch this. If you like this, watch this. And the whole point is to have long sessions because then that is more ad revenue and all that good stuff. So,
and one of the interviewees here talks about, like, I started watching sort of, self-help videos. And then before I knew it, I was down the alt-right, rabbit hole, basically.
Right. Yeah. The guy who then is sort of a whistleblower on that whole phenomenon, right? Like I
Caleb
got sucked
Kane,
in,
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. I got sucked into this and here's how that can happen and all of that. So I don't know that he breaks any new ground here, but he does talk about how it is behind Google, and it is owned by Google, like the largest search engine in the world, and just how much bigger it got and how people didn't think it would be a big deal at first. And it's just people, as so many startups are, a bunch of friends goofing around, dropouts,
right,
goofing around in their garage with some cool idea that one of them had. And then here we are with YouTube. It does highlight also the potential for connection, right?
Yes.
And the potential for people to see themselves in a way they never had. So if you feel isolated, if you feel alienated, you can find others who are like you, who look like you, who have similar interests. One thing that YouTube experts say is to niche down and be as specific as possible. And that's where growth comes from. And so, but people have found here is whatever you're into, there's a channel for it on YouTube. And so I guess in that regard, it can be very, very helpful. I hope we have been helpful to you guys here. If you love movies, clearly you love movies if you're here watching our video. So hopefully, we are on the benevolent side of the possibilities of YouTube.
We're at least chaotic good,
Yeah, but I think a lot of it is about just how the algorithm can take people to dark places and can radicalize them in scary thinking and the Alex Joneses of the world. So It's all out there.
Yeah, like the movie. I don't think the movie's out to demonize YouTube, and it does talk about the more positive aspects. But yeah, it does kind of show this notion of once it's just a numbers game, and they don't care how they get those numbers, and what do you do to sort of make them actually think about things like the public good or not being evil the way Google once promised they would be, which they have let us down over and over again. I was reminded about how TV stations used to have to renew their FCC licenses, and maybe they still do, but part of that process was to show what they had done that were public services. That's why TV channels, local stations would have some Sunday afternoon talk show that nobody watched, but it was, this kind of community service thing. You had to at least pretend like you gave a shit about the common good, and that's something that doesn't happen on YouTube. It is a privately owned, thing. And so, yeah, they want to generate ad revenue. Sure, of course, we all do. But at the same time, where do some standards come into play regarding misinformation, regarding hate speech, regarding all these things that are kind of untrafficked. And then also part of this evolution has just been the idea of, there was like the sort of mainstream corporate media, and then there was the internet that was free and open to everybody. But over the years, more and more, we see the internet kind of get codified and shrunk down into a few things that are run by corporations anyway. And so, we're back to where we started in a lot of ways.
One thing that really freaked me out in this, which I did not know about as a parent, is there's all this there's like little kid YouTube. I knew that.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff that looks like it's wholesome cartoon programming for kids. Some of that stuff is really violent and really disturbing. But like when you're uploading, you check all the boxes saying, oh, this is wholesome and fine.
Right.
But like horrific, murderous, bloody stuff occurs within these really cute little videos.
Yeah. And again, who's minding the store? Who's actually monitoring? If you have these, billions of uploads every day, like, can you possibly keep track of all of it? And so, it does raise a lot of challenges in that way. What's great about this movie is that yes, this is a lot of stuff that I think that people know, but it's all in one place. And I think it's just a kind of a reminder to individuals, to parents, to whoever, to, that whatever it is you're consuming, you have to kind of be mindful about where is this coming from? Are there actual facts being shared with me, or am I just being trapped in an echo chamber where I hear everything I want to hear, And so the last few years has given us, January 6th has given us, the anti-vax movement and all these other things. And YouTube has played a role in exacerbating all of that stuff. And so I think the more that people are made aware that just because you see it on YouTube doesn't mean it's factual, then that's a thing we need to keep talking about.
Except for our content, of course.
No, of course. We're 100%.
We are actual and factual.
That's right.
What's your number?
I'll say 7.5. It's not like breaking the rules of how docs get made, but I think it does pack in a lot of pertinent info, and they talk to some good folks. So, Winter does a good job with this.
Yeah, I will say 7.2, perhaps not as good as other docs he's made, but it does synthesize all that useful stuff into one place. So it is in Alamo Drafthouse theaters. It will be on Kanopy streaming, right?
It's going to be coming to Kanopy, and they're going to be picking up a lot of other of Winter's, like 6, I think, of his previous documentaries. By the way, not an ad, but if you have a library card, find out if you can get access to Kanopy with a K. You get 10 free streaming movies a month. They have a really great library, including all of the Frederick Wiseman documentaries. It's a really good service, and it's free if you have a library card and your library subscribes to it. So, look into it.